guys, welcome back to another episode of Weekly Wahala. It's your girl Crystal Tweneboah, and on today's episode of Weekly Wahala, we're going to be talking about the rapper Saucy Santana, basically trending all over Twitter last night for his tweets about Blue Ivy Carter. So last night, both Saucy Santana and Blue Ivy were trending on Twitter, basically after old tweets of Santana talking about Blue and also some tweets about Beyonce as well went viral. The day before, actually, like I think, well, around Thursday, correct me if I'm wrong, but he released his new song called Booty featuring Lato, and in that song he sampled Beyonce's Crazy in Love. So I know that snippet went viral around social media, and people were pretty much excited to hear it. I mean, I didn't like think of the release, like I didn't think Saucy Santana is gonna release on this day, but obviously through this whole scandal I thought, oh my gosh, what if like now he's probably gonna have to throw the song like in the bin, or like probably throw the song, like probably put it on the back burner, because now this whole scandal, like you can't like sample Beyonce's song and then she gives you the like she gives you the all clear to release the song, and then like you basically tweet negatively about her daughter. So like I thought maybe like the song is probably gonna go in the bin, but yeah, like when I went and checked, it's still up there. And like a quick review about the song, it's obviously upbeat. It's something that's like for the summer, for the girlies, but for me, like it wasn't really worth a second listen for me. Like I heard it once and I was like, okay, like that's it. It wasn't really anything like, probably it sounds like the same old Saucy Santana type release type of songs. But anyway, going back to the topic, so, and also as well, like people really sell it. I think what really took me out of, like what really shocked me with this is like around on Monday, people were like, Saucy Santana was also trending on Monday, and people were saying that how much they're proud of him and that he's really navigating the music industry really well. He even met Lil Kim, well, he met Lil Kim's daughter and Lil Kim, I think backstage at like an event, and obviously it was like all love sort of there. So people were really saying that, it's Santana's time, because for the longest we've known Santana, he's been like Carisha's best friend, but now he's his own music, he's doing his own thing sort of thing. So yeah, but in tweets going to like 2014, Santana was tweeting and also retweeting posts that said, Northwest clears Blue Ivy, Blue have several seats. Another one said, I just want to be Blue Ivy, nappy headed. And another one said, another one was him tweeting that he basically has no insecurities, and he doesn't really care if Beyonce was standing next to him. He believes that he's prettier than Beyonce. Okay. And somebody also said that Beyonce had a pregnancy glow, and he replied and said, oh, she looks dry to me. And that was in 2017. So of course people moved to him on Twitter. Some obviously were about like obviously the anti-black tweets that he made about Blue Ivy's hair, and some were obviously Beyonce's fans who were upset for both reasons, for both Beyonce and both Blue. And so I was pretty much waiting. I think the whole of Twitter was waiting to see what Santana was going to say in regards to this. And he basically tweeted that he doesn't really care, and that like he's like, for him, he feels like he's going to keep the same energy, and that he's not going to back down because he sampled Beyonce's song. He's still going to talk about anybody till the same day, like to this day, sorry. And he basically said that people are fake woke and that they can never cancel anybody. And he also said that that nobody's gonna force him to apologize, pretty much, and that because he's not the public that he offended, in his opinion. And basically he also said that like the internet has no power. So like the fact that he didn't really feel the need to apologize is what sent me. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'd rather have him be honest and truthful than sit and do a sub story and like try and like like, you get what I mean? Like, if you don't really mean the apology, then what's the point? Like, I'm not going to force an apology. Not really me personally, but there's no point in forcing an apology out of somebody who doesn't really feel the need that they need to apologize. But for me, I really don't understand the obsession that the black community has with Blue Ivy's hair. I know that for the first time, because obviously when Beyonce and Jay-Z, like that was Blue was their first child, it was pretty much exciting. Like, oh my gosh, I wonder what she's gonna look like. That's their first child sort of thing. There's always a buzz when people have their first child. And I think for a month, almost like to a year, they kept Blue's identity private and stuff like that. But I know that the paparazzi took pictures of Blue like here and then. And you know, I know that it was like, you know, people were taken aback because they thought that blue was gonna look like Beyonce, like a mini Beyonce basically. So they were obviously shocked when she looked more like Jay-Z, like she had Jay-Z's like nose and lips and basically Jay-Z's features. But like blue has lighter skin because Jay-Z isn't that dark, and like he's not like dark skin, and also Beyonce isn't dark skin either. But yeah, like I think people thought that she was gonna have like European features, and like you know, Beyonce isn't colorist. Like from what I've known, like she's actually been more like, you know, supportive of dark skinned black women, and also talked about like colorism and stuff like that. So but like for me, like it baffles me when like light skinned ambiguous women like will procreate with black men and like believe that their children are gonna look like they're like gonna look like a carbon copy of them, when it's like, no, they're not. Like you would think that like obviously if you want your child to look just as light skinned and ambiguous as you'd also procreate with a man who looks light skinned and ambiguous as you. I don't really understand the fake outrage. Like I'm not really talking about like, because for me like that argument would be more like Danny Lee. Like remember like Danny Lee having like her daughter is a lot darker than her, and like all of a sudden now she wants to talk about, well, colorism, and your colorism is going to affect my daughter, and and it's like, yes, but you have also perpetuated colorism, so go and sit down. But yeah, like so I've said, like, you know, that's why I had to put the disclaimer on there that like Beyonce isn't colorist. But I don't understand how people were shocked that her daughter was gonna have more, you know, unambiguous, like more unambiguous dark features when Beyonce is a whole black man. Anyway, and no, like to be quite honest, like there is a hierarchy in like the biracial and mixed community, you know, that people don't really talk about. Like everybody feels like, you know, if somebody's biracial or somebody's mixed, they're supposed to look a certain type of way. Like people think that like biracial and mixed women are supposed to look like, you know, like Zendaya and like the likes of, you know, I don't know, like Doja Cat. But even like with Doja Cat, like her natural hair is like 4C, so like there's even that shock that was like, and that is like, oh wow, I thought that her hair was gonna look a certain type of way because she's biracial. Like even that's like a perfect example. And so like, but like the biracial community don't want to talk about how like a perfect example is a football player. I think he plays for Real Madrid now, but he's called David Alaba. Like he is biracial. Like his father is a Nigerian like African man, and his mother is like Filipina, and you know, she looks like, it's not like she's like a dark skinned Filipina, like she's lighter, like light skin, like not even light skin, white skin Filipina. But he ended up coming out like with dark skin, and I was like looking at him, I was like, these are like the biracials that tend to be put on the back burner, and that like people don't really like to talk about. But yeah, like, you know, that's how genetics are a bit random and will shock you. So I don't understand why people feel like they can play God and determine how their kids are gonna look. But you know, back to Santana. But Santana, people were trying to defend Santana by saying that you know, like, oh, we've all said it, we've all been there, like talking about Blue. And I was like, who's we? Like there's no we. I've never felt the need to drag Blue's hair because, you know, my hair texture is pretty similar to Blue's. It's very kinky, coily. I'm not really sure in terms of like the actual, like, I don't know what you call it, the category, like the 4B, 4C, like sort of thing, but like my hair is also kinky and coily. So if I was gonna say anything remotely negative about Blue's hair, I should look in the mirror, because I would have to look in the mirror because my hair is like pretty much the same thing. So what would I be getting? That's why I could never understand why a black woman would sit there and disrespect Blue, because it's like, sis, you have the same hair on your head as well. I don't really understand. What are you is this projection? I think it's projection. But I know, like for me, like, and then like I feel like people have gone, and I feel like this is what got me. Like, let me just literally talk about this. Like, let me talk about the hypocrisy that is, like, that's what's happening right now. Like, all I saw last night with Santana was just the title of, like, that was the definition of hypocrisy. So about 2 months ago, weren't black women saying that, when black women basically standing behind Will Smith saying that, it was a good thing that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because, he was defending a black woman. You should never talk about a black woman's hair. She has alopecia. Oh wow, like black women everybody wants to mock a black woman's hair. Black woman's hair is a sacred topic, yada yada yada. But then you all are the same group of women who have mocked Blue Ivy's hair. So you cannot sit here and say that, black woman's hair are beyond, like, you know, nobody can ever talk about black women's hair. It's sacred, and that, you know, Chris Rock deserved the slap. Chris Rock basically deserved to be slapped, when, like, you guys have all talked about, even, what's the girl who was the Olympian, was it Gabby Douglas, when people were giving Gabby Douglas stick for her hair as well, saying that her hair was undone, and she was a whole Olympian, she won a gold medal, and so that wasn't good enough. The fact that the only subject that people were talking about at the time was about her hair. So, like, there's different instances like that where it's like, oh, we can't talk about black women's hair, but then you'd be the same women who are going to disrespect Blue Ivy's hair, so make it make sense. But, you know, anyway, and also as well too, there's even that hypocrisy, you know, back, bringing another hypocritical example was when, I don't think a lot of people talked about this, but I saw this on Twitter, and I want to talk about it. It was, remember when Candace Owens, so Candace Owens was going in on Harry Styles, and was basically saying that, like, Harry Styles is basically not a manly man, because he was wearing dresses on skirts and whatsoever, and basically Noah Cyrus was trying to defend Harry Styles, and so she, in her wanted to clap back to Candace Owens, she called Candace Owens a nappy-headed hoe, right? And so a lot of black women then went in on Candace Owens, went in on Noah Cyrus, and was like, you cannot call a black woman a nappy-headed hoe, you know, why is this white woman calling a black woman a nappy-headed hoe, like, basically blasting Noah, so much so that Noah had to apologize, basically. And for me, I was like, yeah, whatever, apologize, but I was like, I wonder where she's heard that from, because I don't think that, you know, Miley's mom is telling, you know, Miley or Noah that, like, you know, or your hair is nappy. I think she's probably heard this in, like, a back and forth with black women going going off on each other on social media, or she's heard this from somewhere, and she's probably heard this from black women themselves. So this is back what I'm saying, where it's like, you know, we're gonna sit there and disrespect Blue Ivy and think, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I can say as a black woman, I can disrespect Blue as a black woman, but, you know, but, like, y'all are gonna hold other ways of people accountable if they ever said the same thing that you said, and it's just as worse coming from black. That's what I don't understand. I've always even said this about colorism, that people like to paint racism as, oh, racism is so bad. I feel like colorism is just as worse, if not worse. Like, it's worse than racism, because it's like, you know, we're supposed to be this whole black community, let's stick together, but we'll disrespect each other's skin tone and hair texture and heartbeat, and I literally will never understand it. But it's like, let a white person say the same thing that you're saying word for word, and it's like, let's set that person on fire. So I don't understand the hypocrisy. Like, and also people were talking about you know, Lil Nas X as well, because people were also including him, because he's also said bad things about Blue Ivy and Blue Ivy's hair as well, and the whole comparison with Blue and North. Santana did it as well, comparing Blue to North, and North is a biracial girl, so hence why, you know, she probably looks the way that she does. But yeah, like, I've also said that, like, colorism and racism, both of them, they're not a yes or a no. The misconception is that it's like, oh, are you racist? Yes. Are you racist? No. Are you colorist? Yes. Are you colorist? No. I feel like it's a scale. There's like, it's a scale of numbers, or a scale of, like, you know, just the way you perceive things, and, you know, the stereotypes that you sort of believe about others. And I feel like even, like, there's a misconception that, you know, black people or dark-skinned black people and dark-skinned black women can't be colorist because, oh, well, you're dark-skinned. It's like, well, yeah, like, I can be colorist just like I can be racist. I choose not to be colorist and I choose not to be racist, but there's nothing stopping an individual from being racist, like, or being colorist. I don't understand, like, your skin, just the way you look, doesn't stop you from being colorist. And, like, we've seen this with, you know, even the black women who are mocking Blue. It's a form of colorism, and it's a form of texturism, if you're being, you know, precise with the hair and the hair texture. But it's a form. Like, I feel like often a lot of dark-skinned black women go unchecked because they think, you know, that, oh, well, she's a dark-skinned black woman, so she's not going to be colorist, or she's not going to have colorist ideals. But there's nothing stopping an individual from being colorist, regardless of what they look like. And a perfect example is with Asian Doll as well. Asian Doll is somebody who's talked about colorism and how it's affected her in the rap industry. Well, her old tweets came out, and it turned out that she was colorist as well. She was colorist more to darker skinned women, like, you know, because obviously, you know, skin tone, like in terms of blackness, is, you know, there's a variety of skin tone. You know, dark skin doesn't just end with me. There's a woman darker than me. So like, you know, that's what I was getting at. That like, you know, people were thinking that, oh, like somebody like this cannot be colorist. And when I checked her tweets, she was saying disrespectful things about, you know, like mainly like African women who have like more darker skin tone because of like because of their environment, and people were shocked. And obviously she has not been held to task, which I find is very stupid, because if that was a lighter skinned woman, or if that was a white woman saying this, people would be crying colorism, people would be crying racism. So like I find it very just dumb and just baseless, pretty much. Basically, for me personally, I feel like, you know, my favorite like quote that I've been saying to myself, I feel like I'm gonna be the one who's gonna champion this. And it's like, for me, I always say like, state the criteria and we'll move accordingly, right? So people are basically trying to defend Santana by saying that, oh well, no, he tweeted this when he was younger, and when we went back, he was like 21, 24 when he tweeted those tweets. For me personally, like, you know, we see this all the time when, you know, white influencers, YouTubers get caught for racism, and then they say, oh well, you know, I was young, I was 13. Like, at what age can you just be a good person and just be respectful of people? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm pretty sure that like just that is not immeasurable of age. Just be a respectful and a kind person. And you know, like for me, I just don't understand. That's why I say that state the criteria or move accordingly. Because, you know, a funny story, like the same Asian doll video that I did is still, if you just go to my channel, like, I'll just watch it. I did a video about Asian doll, and like she got basically called for like cultural appropriation and stuff like that. And you know, I sort of broke everything down and even brought out her old tweets and said that, you know, like she's problematic basically. And a girl tweet, like, I'll try and find the comment, like a girl came in my comment section and she was like, oh, girl, bye, like those are old tweets, like you can't use old tweets against an individual, and you know that's invalid. Basically she was saying that my argument is invalid because I brought up old tweets. And basically I replied to her and I was like, yeah, you know what, you are free to have your own opinion. Yeah, everybody's free to have your own opinion, but I hope that you keep that same energy when a white influencer or a white you know, YouTuber or whatever, TikTok or whatever, gets caught for saying racist tweets. See, there was a whole you know, backlash when like I think like during like people were making racist TikToks and stuff like that. People were finding, like, they found out, like, so there'd be like a white TikToker who'd make a racist TikTok, and then people went and found out where they, you know, where they worked, their parents. I think for one of them, it was a little boy, like, well, he was like a young teenager, but maybe like 14, 15, and they found out where his parents worked, and they found out where his dad was, and his dad ended up getting fired from his job. There was that couple, the racist couple, who did a racist TikTok, and they found out that the girl was gonna go to college, and they found out like the college that she was going to go to, and the college basically declined her and like basically said that they were not going to allow her into the college. And so it's stuff like this where it's like, let this be you know, let this be like in regards to the whole, or somebody's young or somebody was a minor, like when somebody was young and, you know, naive when they made a tweet or you know, stuff like that. It's all fun and games when it's black people doing it, but then what if like, when other, like obviously when it's black people doing it, then it's, oh, let's brush it and let's carpet, everybody should let go of it. But if it's like anybody else doing it, then it's like, oh, let us hold this person to task. I also find it very funny, like, and I'm also saying that like with because Saucy Santana is part of the LGBTQIA plus community, would they then keep the same energy if, you know, somebody was being transphobic or homophobic or I don't know, all the whole phobic that they throw at everybody? Would you then keep the same energy if you found out that, like, you know, an influencer, somebody somewhere was being you know, transphobic or being homophobic? They, you know, would that person's career will be finished. So it's all fun and games when it's like people want to move the goalpost when it's with people that they like and when people that they don't like. And that's why I say state the criteria and we'll move accordingly. So if we can't if people's tweets should never be brought up and should never be used against them, then that goes for everybody, regardless of race, regardless of beliefs or religion. Let's not bring up anybody's old tweets. But if that still stands, and people, we need to look back at people's tweets, because that determines their behavior and the way they think and who they are, then that goes for everybody. Then everybody's tweets need to be brought up, depending on what you look like. So then that's why I always say state the criteria and we'll move accordingly. So yeah, and that's, and people, I think a lot of what I also saw is that people didn't really want to hold Santana accountable, because because a lot of Beyonce's fans, like some of the people did try and hold him accountable, but the people that I really saw going off were mainly black women. That was it. Members of the LGBTQIA plus community were very silent, especially the black members of the LGBTQIA plus community were very silent, which is something that I picked up on. But I think they probably might feel like, oh well, I don't want to cancel Santana because he's now mainstream and we need more mainstream rappers and whatever. But I feel like what I'm saying to that is that if that is what if that's the representation that you are banking on in your community, then what does that say about your community? For me per se, what is my representation? I say for example, I really want a dark skin girl to just go to be mainstream, Normani's and your Brie Runways and your Dolce, I want them to be mainstream. I want them to be bigger, I want them to be bigger artists. That's my representation. That's who I want to see in on the TV and win all the awards. So that's what I see for for representation. So but if Normani or Brie Runway did something or said something that I just did not agree with, that's not what I'm going to put my faith in. That's not what I'm going to put my all in. I'm going to find somebody else. I'm going to find a different, so that's what I'm trying to get at, that if this is what, if you're so desperate for representation that you're going to to accept very problematic people like Donna as ex or Santana and just allow them to get away with this, to get away with very problematic behavior, then what does that say about you? What does that say about your community? And what does that say about your ideals? So wow, this is 23 minutes. But if you have gotten to this point of the video, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys. This is your Wahala video of the week.
Call the police for me.
What's going on?
He ran me over. I jumped on the hood.